Hi everyone, and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions. My name is Tommi. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as DynamiteTrujillo. Welcome to episode 87 of my podcast. Thank you so much for being here. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, a big welcome back. It's a really beautiful and sunny and cold Friday in November here on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. We have show notes for this episode and all episodes. Not all episodes, most recent episodes. We have show notes for this episode that you can find in the description box below. And through the links in the description box below, you can also find our Ravelry group, which you should go check out and join if you haven't yet. That is one of the places where we are hosting the Flashy Make-Along. And that is a make-along where you can knit, crochet, sew, weave, anything of the sort to make yourself a flashy garment, a statement piece, something a little wild and crazy. You can also check out what people are doing on Instagram using the hashtag FlashyMAL, so join us and check it out if you so please. Okay, are you ready? We're gonna get into the episode with my FOs and like a whole bunch of whips. I got a lot of new stuff happening this week. So to start off with my FO, I am wearing it. This is the Télégramme by Becky Sorensen that I have been working on, and it's done and I love it. This is a pattern by Becky Sorensen, who is Soprano Knits on Instagram. It was just released yesterday, so if you're interested in it, please do go check it out. It's an amazing cardigan, and let me get up and show you what it looks like. So here it is. It's amazing. It's a fitted, kind of cropped, button-up cardigan. It's a top-down raglan shaping. I used this yarn, which is Aimée and Mondim. Mondim is a Retrosaria base, and it's dyed by Aimée. It's the Quartz Fume colorway, and oh, it's beautiful. I love it so much. So the sweater has an all-over broken rib pattern, and then there are these side panels with a cable running all down the sides and all along the sleeves, and it's got one on either side. It's a really nice, simple knit, and it's a really nice, simple cardigan. I feel like it's really classic looking, and I really love it. Here's the back. I just love this thing so much. I love the way it fits. I knit the size 1, which is the smallest size, and there are a lot of different size options for this pattern. So the size that I knit was 0 ease in the bust, but since there's no waist shaping, it's a boxy fit. There is a little bit of positive ease in the torso or waist or whatever. And I really like how that looks with mine being cropped. I think it looks really cool, especially with jeans. I like it. And I did knit this thing about 2 centimeters shorter than it was supposed to be, but that was an accident. Don't know how it happened, but I measured it after the fact and it's 2 centimeters shorter. So it's just a little bit shorter than it's supposed to be. But I love the style of this. I feel like it's kind of bringing me back to like almost a 90s kind of style with like, so it's got this kind of high V-neck, and I've been wearing it closed, and it's like kind of got the boxiness, and it's a little cropped, and I'm wearing it with jeans, and I don't know, something about it just like screams high school in the 90s for me. So I really am enjoying that. I love my sweater. I love this yarn so much. So the pattern in my size calls for 3 skeins of this yarn, and I only broke into the 3rd skein for I think like 5 grams or something like that. So that was pretty awesome. Now I've got all of this beautiful Mondim yarn to do something else with, and I'm really excited. I can knit a whole pair of socks with this if I want to. I don't know what I'm going to do yet though. We'll see. As for the buttons on this cardigan, I stole them from another cardigan. So I had knit the Stroker pullover by Isolde Teague and decided later that I wanted to steek it and make it into a cardigan. So I did that. I added buttons, but the buttons I chose were too small for the buttonholes that I made. So it just, I would button it and like half the buttons would come undone when I didn't want them to. And so I just stole buttons from that cardigan and am planning on putting bigger buttons on that one. But they worked perfectly for this because I feel like they go really well. They're just kind of a marbly black and gray plastic button. And I think it looks really good with this color. And I love it so much. Okay, anyway. That's enough close-ups. So yeah, that's my FO. I think it's fantastic, and you should totally check it out if you are interested in making it, because you might like it too. Okay, so my next finished object is a refinished object. I knit the replacement mitten. So if you watched last episode, you will know that I knit these mittens, which is the Bonbon Mittens pattern by Tin Can Knits, for my daughter Lucy. I knit the toddler size in O Wool, O Wash Worsted in the Appalachian Stone colorway, and then I lost one of them, and so I re-knit it. And now I have another pair, and I'm really excited. There were a lot of amazing comments in the last video suggesting that I do like an I-cord or something, some kind of attachment where I attach the two mittens together so that they never get lost again. That's a really good idea, and I totally should do that. Okay. Moving on to works in progress. I got a whole lot of them. My first work in progress is living in my Sugar Tots box bag. I like it. So I cast on a pair of mittens. This is, aside from being all tangled up, this is the Alice mitten pattern by Diana Walla. And the yarn that I'm using is Farmer's Daughter Fibers. One of those. This is the Pushkin DK base. And this I think is, let's see, Elk Antler, and this is Eagle Eye. And this is Montana and Wyoming Rambouillet. These are half skeins, so these are both 50-gram skeins. I got this at Stitches West 2019. This is the last of my Stitches West stash from 2019. Boom! Doing it. Working through all of it. So this yarn is really nice. I really like it. It's, that's it. It's nice and I like it. So here's what I have so far. So this is a DK colorwork mitten pattern. I changed the cuff. The cuff was supposed to be like more of an intricate kind of like scalloped rib. But I wanted to do a plain 2x2 rib because I'm boring, but I did keep her color change progression idea. So I did that. And I went down in needle size as well. So the pattern calls for US 5 for the main part of the mitten. She wrote the pattern in 2 different sizes in terms of 2 different stitch counts. The smaller size was either like a 7, was written for a 7.5 or a 7.25 inch hand. My hand is more like 7 inches, and I really like my things on my hands to be nice and snug. So I decided to go down in needle size to size down just a teeny bit, and I'm glad I did that. I think it's working out great. So far, they fit really nicely. And it's got this cool thumb gusset, and I've gotten about that much past the thumb, so now I just have all of this to do. I really love this pattern, and I really love these colorways in this pattern. This aesthetic right here is very much Tommi in her early 20s. Very much so. So when I see this pattern, especially in these colors, I am really reminded of the thrift stores of the town that I grew up in the Mojave Desert, which is in Southern California. So the town that I lived in for like my teenage years had such good thrift stores. It was a desert town, and this town like was really populated, like really came into its being in like the 60s and the 70s. And so the thrift stores there were just like swimming in the most amazing 70s era amazing things. And that was very much what I fell in love with when I lived there when I was like a teenager and in my early 20s. I loved all things 70s thrift store. So this really reminds me of that, and I just love everything about this. Oh, it's just so me from back then. My favorite color when I was, for most of my 20s and before that, was brown. I loved like, you know, that like brown tone rainbow from like the 70s where it's like brown and orange and mustard yellow and cream. I loved that. That was like my thing back then. Like now I love pink and purple and black and gray. Then it was brown. Anyway, so I'm super into these mittens. The whole motif with the flower and the little swirly and these arrows with the colors is just perfect. The patterning on the palm is really awesome, and I feel like it fits that whole aesthetic too because these kind of look like buttons. Oh, I like it. I really like it. So that's been a really nice project to work on, and I'm excited to get them done so that I can wear them. I'm also just not like the biggest fan of the act of doing like all over color work, so I'm a little like getting to the point where like, but I'm enjoying it. I like them. They're great. Okay. My next project is another new cast on, and it is living in my woodsy and wild bag. It's got a pom-pom on it, because I'm cool. So this is, you ready for it? It's a shawl! I have not made a shawl in a very long time, especially like a fingering weight triangular shawl. It has been so long since I've had something like this on the needles, but inspiration struck and I wanted it on my needles and I put it on there and it's been so much fun. Oh, it's been so much fun. Okay, so the pattern. This is the Gatsby Shawl by Don Henderson. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful shawl. It's a triangular shawl, top down. It's got baubles and stuff at the edges, and I'm so excited. I have never done baubles before. I'm super stoked on that. And the yarn that I'm using is Moonstone Dyeworks, which is my yarn. And this is in the Merino single base in the Crescent Moon colorway. So I felt like this colorway was gonna go really good with this shawl, and I felt like it was really perfect for right now because it's getting colder and this kind of color combination just like really was speaking to me right now. It's got like really soft grays and like purples and browns, and oh, I love it. So I'm knitting this on a US size 5, which is what the pattern calls for. And right now I'm just in this beautiful, wondrous garter triangle land. This is really speaking to my love for really monotonous knitting. I'm really enjoying it. It's a really beautiful shawl design, and I'm even more drawn to it because it's called the Gatsby Shawl. I really love The Great Gatsby. I really love F. Scott Fitzgerald's books, and I really love The Great Gatsby. It's a really complex, complicated, interesting book. It's got such good writing. It's got such horrible characters. And it's one of my many favorite books of all time. I'm sure many of you have read it. It's like high school required reading. But it's a horrible and amazing and beautiful and tragic and gross book. And I love it. And I'm so happy to be knitting a shawl named after it. I'm pretty sure it's named after The Great Gatsby. But I can't remember. But if it isn't, whatever, that's what I think of. I'm pretty sure it is. I think she named it after The Great Gatsby. And I'm so happy that somebody did that because... Did you guys ever watch, I think it's called Z, The Beginning of Everything? It was an Amazon series about Zelda Fitzgerald, who was F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife. And she was freaking amazing. And it's with Christina Ricci, who plays her like so good. I love Zelda Fitzgerald too. I just love her so much. Anyway, it's a great show if you ever watch it. I don't think it got picked up for like more. I don't think it just kind of ended, you know, and it never had more episodes. Anyway, that's my shawl. And I'm really enjoying working on it. Yes, the shawl is back. Haha. I don't know where it went, but it's back now. And maybe I'll do more. I don't know. It feels really good to be working on a shawl again. You know, it's not something that I think I stopped working on shawls for a long time because I have a lot of shawls and I don't wear a great variety of shawls. Like I have a few that I stick to over and over again. So they kind of stopped being practical for me to make. But the reason why I was knitting so many shawls back when I used to knit a lot of shawls wasn't really for practical sake. It was because I liked knitting shawls. They're a really fun kind of project to knit for me. So yeah, anyway, my musings on shawl knitting right now. I'm really enjoying it. I'm super glad I cast it on. My next project is another new cast on. It's my last new cast on. I have just been going with it. It is, wait for it, a Christmas stocking. I finally am knitting Christmas stockings. I have literally been wanting to knit Christmas stockings for myself and my family, which up until recently was just me and Colin, for years. And I've never actually done it, and I'm finally doing it this year, and I'm so excited. Okay, so this came about because me and Colin are always kind of trying to do something a little different for our gifts for each other because we have been together for like, I don't know, 15 years or something. And back a long time ago, it was really fun to get each other like really, you know, thoughtful and like interesting and surprising Christmas gifts. But the longer you're with somebody, the harder that gets. Especially when, like me, you are with somebody who's very non-materialistic and very into being as seriously minimal as freaking possible. Total opposite of me. I love stuff. I got Amazon wish lists up the wazoo. He wants nothing ever. So anyway, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll agree to like get something together for our house because, you know, we got a lot of stuff to do with our house. But anyway, this year he had a really good suggestion that I really liked. We don't do gifts for each other at all. We just do stockings. And that way we can just get each other like stupid little things that like don't really matter, that are just kind of fun and like whatever. So that's what we're doing this year. We're just doing stockings for each other, and since I've always wanted to make stockings, I thought this was a perfect opportunity to kick my butt into gear and actually make us some stockings. So let me tell you what I'm doing. I am knitting the Holiday Stockings pattern by Michelle Bernstein, and it's a Knit Picks pattern. And it calls for bulky weight yarn, and I'm using the yarn that it's called for in the pattern, which is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Superwash Bulky. These are my colors. I dropped one of them. Hold on. Oh, come back. I gotta get up. I gotta go. I'll be right back. Okay. So, This is them. The pattern actually calls for these three colors. The white, this is Garnet Heather, and this is Solstice Heather. And one of them uses one as the main color and the other is the contrast, and the other one, the second stocking, does it opposite. So you're supposed to be able to get 2 stockings out of one skein of each color. So I'm doing a 3rd stocking for Lucy, so I got Bamboo Heather to go with it. So these are my color schemes. I was torn between doing this kind of like classic, like, I don't know, kind of nautical Christmas. What? I don't know. This reminds me of a nautical Christmas theme for some reason. And that's kind of the idea that I got from the pattern itself. I was torn between this color scheme and switching it all up to be like turquoise and pink and cream and like lime green. You know what I mean? I thought that would have been really cool too, but I decided to go the more classic route. So that's what I'm doing. This is my first time using Wool of the Andes, and I really like it. It's really, really nice to work with. So there's going to be 3 stockings in total. The pattern comes with 2 different colorwork patterns. This one's going to be Colin's. So his is the blue for the main color, and then the garnet for the colorwork, and white, and then the white goes for the little dots too. And then mine is going to be the star pattern, and mine is going to be, so I wanted to do it to where each stocking had an element from a color element from the next one. So I'm doing, I had to write it down because I couldn't work it out in my head. But Colin's is blue is the main color, red is the contrast color. Mine is going to be red is the main color, blue as the, no, green. Red is the, I forgot. Hold on. See, this is hard. I don't know why this is so hard for me. Oh, dang it. I did it wrong. So my plan was Colin's being blue as the main color, green as the contrast color. Mine being red as the main color, blue as the contrast color. Lucy's being green as the main color, red as the contrast color. So now I'm going to have to switch that all around because I messed up and I made his with red as the contrast. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I'm knitting these on the needle size called for, on a size 9. And this is really fun, and obviously it's knitting up super, super fast because it's bulky weight, and oh, it's just so much fun. And I love these deers. They're so cute. So it's pretty much just a giant top-down sock. And I am pretty excited about it. So those are my Christmas stockings. And yeah, I'm doing it. I'm making Christmas stockings. Okay, moving on to my next work in progress. Hold on, I'm gonna cut this all out, don't worry, but I gotta put this stuff away because, like I said before, if I don't, I'm gonna have a huge mess on my hands when I'm done. Fat Squirrel project bag. Okay. My next work in progress is my Gemini pullover. This is a sweater that I am designing, and this is what it looks like so far. Did I have this much last time? No, I didn't have this much last time. Did I? I can't remember what I actually showed you last time. But this is what I've got. I am knitting this with, again, my yarn in the Gemini colorway, and I'm holding my merino single together with my mohair silk lace weight base. And I'm to the point where I have run out of my first skein of merino single. So I dyed up a bunch more, which you'll see later. And I still have to attach the next skein, and then I'm almost out of my first skein of mohair. So I've got more of that as well. And I started, so I wanted a top-down V-neck raglan pullover with those two yarns held together. And I wanted the V-neck to be as deep as I could possibly get it without going past the armholes. So I started the numbers for like the cast on and stuff with numbers from Ann Budd's Top Down Sweater book. And from there, I just kind of, I tried to do some of my own math beforehand. Actually, no, I did. I did some of my own math beforehand. It worked out. And I was able to increase to a size that I liked for my armholes. I got as deep as I could for the neckband, which I'm super excited about. And yeah, I separated, and now I'm just knitting down. It's all plain stockinette so far. I did do some waist decreases, so pretty much I decreased 4 stitches per round every like 10 rounds or so, and then I knit straight for a little while, and now I'm doing some hip increases. So I was unsure at first if I wanted to do like a crop top or go a little longer. I think I'm going a little longer, but I'm trying it on as I go to see how long I want to make it. And I am super, super happy with it so far. I think I'm really, really gonna like it. I really love this color so much. So that's where I'm at with that. And my plan is to do long sleeves, and then I think for the neckband I'm just gonna pick up and then bind off immediately so that I don't have an actual ribbing band for the neckband. It'll just be really simple and really plain, and I can keep it low without keeping it raw. So, oh, I love it. Super squishy. And I am knitting this on a US size 6 needle. And it is living in my Lost and Fawn project bag. Okay. The last thing that I've been working on is living in my Katydid project bag. And it is my sweater for Colin, who is my husband. I am knitting the Little Wave by Gudrun Johnston, but I'm changing it pretty significantly. So this is what I have so far. The Little Wave is a bottom-up shawl collar cardigan. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern. It calls for Brooklyn tweed shelter, and that is what I'm using. And this is in the sweatshirt colorway. So it's a pretty cool speckly gray. And I'm on my second cake right now, and I've gotten that much done. So the main thing that I'm changing about this pattern is that there is an all-over pattern in the pattern that's a wavy sort of pattern, but I changed it to be broken rib, which is exactly the same pattern as this sweater. I totally ripped off the idea from this sweater and I put it on this. So it's got a couple of panels of garter that go up each side. These are somehow going to become pockets. I don't know how this is going to work. I have not read ahead yet, but I'm a little weirded out by it. But I'm knitting this on a USA 6. I did have to go down, I think, 2 needle sizes from what the pattern recommends to get gauge. And what I kind of realized is that with a broken rib, it makes your fabric a lot wider than it would be with stockinette or regular ribbing. So I think I had to go down some needle sizes because of this particular pattern makes your fabric wider. So I'm really happy with the fabric that I'm getting. I think it feels really good and I'm really excited about it. That's a taco. That's by Sucre Miniatures. Just saying. And yeah, it's kind of at this point, I'm in a really simple place with this cardigan. All of the construction-y stuff and all of the, like, I don't know, complex stuff is going to happen up here in this area-ish, but from the bottom up to the armholes, it's just straight this pattern, back and forth, over and over again for like, I think like 17 inches. So, and this is about 1.5 skeins worth. So I'm enjoying it because I love knitting like this, and I really, really enjoy working with Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. It's a really nice yarn. And I've got a lot of freaking skeins of it, so I'm going to be knitting with it a lot in my near future. And that's it. That's everything I've been working on. I have been really knitting a lot these past couple weeks. Like, my mojo is like here for it right now. It is like, hello autumn, I got you covered. Don't worry, we're going to knit stuff for everybody. So it's been really fun. I like it, obviously. Okay, that is it for that. I'm going to talk about Shop Update now. So I am the dyer behind Moonstone Dyeworks. It is a hand-dyed yarn company on the internet. There is a link below to the shop. It is moonstonedyeworks.com. And I am going to be adding some yarn to the shop. When you see this episode, it will be in the shop. So if you're interested in any of it, please go check it out. And that would just be lovely. So let's show you what I've got. I dyed more Gemini because I needed it for my sweater. So I decided to just dye a whole bunch and put it up in the shop. So this is Gemini on Merino Single, and this is it on Silk Mohair. So a bunch of this is up in the shop. Yeah. And then I also dyed up some Crescent Moon because it's what I wanted to knit my shawl out of. So I did this on the same basis. This is Merino Single, and this is Silk Mohair. So there's a bunch of this up as well. And then I've got another batch of Decaying Opulence. I did a bunch of this on DK because I thought that would kind of be really perfect for right now. So there are probably like a few sweaters quantities of Decaying Opulence on Merino DK up in the shop now. And that is it. There is already some yarn up in the shop, including some other opulence, Decaying Opulence on, I think, mohair. I forget though. Maybe BFL sock. I don't know. But there's other stuff there too. If you're interested in checking any of that out, please do so. That would be lovely. And thank you if you do decide to check it out. Okay. Is that it? That's pretty much it for the show today. I purchased an advent calendar of tea. Now, it's David's tea advent calendar. I don't have that much experience with David's tea, and what I have seen, I don't love the idea of like sugar in my tea, so like a lot of their teas have like candy in it and stuff, and that doesn't really appeal to me, but I don't know why. I suckered out and got the advent calendar. I got it in my head. Oh, by the way, we're in favorites. Hi. Hello. I decided, I got it in my head that I really wanted an advent calendar, and I really wanted like a consumable advent calendar. I love the idea of yarn advent calendars, but for one, it's too late for that, and anyway, I wanted something that I could not build up to the stuff that I own, but an advent calendar where I could use it as I opened it. And I looked around. Ultimately, what I really wanted was a bourbon advent calendar, but apparently the only people who make bourbon advent calendars are British people, which is weird because bourbon is fundamentally American. And so they take a bunch of American whiskeys and bring them to the UK and then make them into advent calendars. And as an American, if you want to buy it, you have to pay like $40 in shipping to get it. So why don't we make any bourbon advent calendars here where I can get them cheaper? America? What? So that was really upsetting. that I couldn't get a bourbon advent calendar. But I also looked at coffee advent calendars. There's lots of chocolate advent calendars, but I'm not that into candy or chocolate. I mean, I like it, but it doesn't make me excited to like open a chocolate every day. So I was looking at tea advent calendars, and like I said, I'm not hugely drawn to the whole David's Tea collection, but I let myself fall down I got the advent calendar of David's Tea, and I got it on one of those days where everything was like 20% off, so I was like, click, yes please. So I'm excited about it. I haven't had an advent calendar since I was a little kid, and when I was a little kid it was like the tear off paper ones, so this one's gonna be way better. I'm really excited about that. If I do happen to bite the bullet and just buy a bourbon advent calendar for myself and pay the $1 million that it costs, I might have that too, but probably not. I got a cup because of course when you order something online you have to order up to free shipping, so I got this new teacup and I like it so much. It's got coffee in it right now. Okay. So I guess that's it. I'm excited about December because I get to start using my advent calendar. And yeah, that's okay. I'm going to end the episode now because we are done. I hope you are having a fantastic autumn or spring, whichever it is where you are. I hope you're having a fantastic November. What are you doing? Are you making pumpkin pies? I have a butternut squash that I plan to make into a pumpkin pie because I like to use butternut squash for pumpkin pie because it's super tasty and I think it tastes better. So I'm gonna do that soon. Oh, you wanna know what I did with my apple trees? So we have 2 apple trees. They're like 50 years old. They're really great. They make a ton of apples. And we made them all into cider. So we picked a bunch of the apples off of our trees, pretty much the rest of them, and using a grinder and a press that one of our local nurseries, plant nurseries, lets you use for free if you make an appointment. We made about 6 gallons of apple cider. We kept 1 gallon for fresh drinking purposes, and then we are fermenting the other 5 gallons. We have a 5-gallon carboy, so we're fermenting it and making hard apple cider. So that's gonna be ready probably in mid-December, and I'm super stoked about that. So we are drinking cider pretty soon. Okay. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And I hope you're doing lots of fun stuff. I hope whatever you are doing day to day is treating you really well. And if you liked the episode, please feel free to like and subscribe and check out the shop if you're interested, and check out the Flashy Make Along if you feel like being a little jazzy. Have fun and stay awesome. Bye.